She's calling me slag, which I didn't know what that meant at the time. I'm not British, so I'm like, but I knew it was an insult. I knew I was being insulted, okay? So I said, you're a whale, you're a whale, you're a whale. See, maybe the whale was too far, but she was a bigger woman. Y'all can call me what you want on the internet. You can't call me fat, so get out, look it.
I hope you're dabbing on them haters.
Subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell. My fans who got me through this, you know.
Make sure you're dabbing on them haters.
Slag, that's like me calling you a bitch. I said, you're a grown-ass woman. Why are you acting like this?
Wait for you, just sleep with him, ho! You ho! Stop acting like you're not a ho!
It's not very ladylike. Hey guys, it's been a while. I know, I've been going through a bit of a life transition, and I kind of let the video making become a low priority in my life. The life transition is good, so no worries there. It's still ongoing. But yes, anyways, excuses. I hate to make excuses, but it is what it is. My last video was quite a long one. It took me out for a while. I did get some criticism on that one. I was told, well, I would say it was implied that because I didn't have a Bugatti, my opinion on that topic was not relevant. And the topic was, the morality of Andrew Tate. So I've been soul searching, I've been wondering about the whole Bugatti thing. But of course, having a Bugatti does not make you a moral person or an immoral person. It might just be a flashy neon sign if you got that thing by immoral means, which, is kind of what I think about what Andrew Tate did. But whatever, this video is not about Tate.
Thoughts on Andrew Tate? I think he speaks a lot of truth, and a lot of women don't want to hear it. Oh, if you sleep around, that is not attractive to guys. They don't want you to know that you age out of the dating marketplace.
This video is not about Tate. I was accused by someone as well that I was making a video about Tate because I wanted to get views on my video, and that was quite a genius take. I mean, no one has figured it out yet, but people tend to make videos so they get views on the videos. Although, it's weird because no one said that when I made the video about Meghan Markle. I'm pretty sure more people know about her. Regardless, today the video is not about Tate, but just girly things. So within that same realm, I would say, and by the way, if it was views above my own principles and above my own values, I would just do what Pearl does and pander to men. There's certainly a market there. I would tell them what they want to hear because I know that market is ripe to be exploited. But I think thanks to people like Pearl and Fresh and Fit and maybe even Andrew Tate, the red pill / manosphere space might have already reached its peak. That may be a topic for another time. It would be easier for me to gain momentum by going full controversial and full steam on the red pill manosphere train. Because I know if I just parrot what Rollo Tomassi says or Kevin Samuels' ideas without any critical thinking and nuance, I'll get views. And for those of you who don't know who those guys are or where, in the case of Kevin Samuels, they are popular creators in the red pill manosphere space. They have both been called the godfather of the space, especially the more popular content on that side of the internet. If an LGBTQ person speaks against the LGBTQ community, they will immediately get a bigger platform than if a straight conservative person does it. It's just how it works. So I could potentially just listen to Kevin Samuels' old videos or Rollo's videos and just repeat what they say. But I cannot do that because I make content about what I find genuinely interesting in the culture and about what I actually think. And sometimes I change my mind on things, and hopefully my videos reflect the evolution of my views. But I will not pin myself into a corner like Pearl has. See, she is unmarried in her late 20s with a successful channel that mainly bashes women and blames them for the state of dating and even modern society. Why is she unmarried? At this point, it would be easy to pick a nice guy and marry him, right? I mean, I hope I'm not being mean. I don't want to be mean to another content creator, but sometimes it warrants it a little bit. She has no problem bullying her guests, let's just say. Her comments are filled with men whom undoubtedly would love to date Pearl. Some even say that they would marry her. She has said on multiple occasions that if a woman is single, she is too picky.
Ideally, some things are out of your control, but ideally I'd like to be married. If you're single over a certain age, you're probably too picky.
How are they getting youth when the average age of first marriage for women in the US is 28.6 years old?
Then I'm like, are you too picky? Because she's single and she's been aware of this issue for a couple years now. And I know this because I followed Pearl at the early stages. And I thought, oh cool, she kind of gets it. I mean, she's a bit ditzy about it, but she kind of gets it. But then she really went off the deep end. She just really went nuts. Pearl might now be pivoting into more political content, which cringe. But it's hard to dig yourself out of that hole. If she does not get married soon, she would have put herself in a very awkward position, a very hypocritical one. And I wonder if that pressure might make her desperate enough when it comes to getting into a relationship, which is never a good place to be.
If a guy has all the things that you look for, he might cheat.
Yeah.
So how can I be that mad if he cheats when it's like I picked him?
Would you accept if he's just stepping up but not getting anyone pregnant?
Are we married?
No, you're in a relationship.
I think if I'm being truly honest with myself, for the right guy, I probably would.
How many times?
I don't know how many times.
One of her latest tweets: "It is not an insult to women to say that men offer more value to society. And I keep trying to think of things women are better at, and I can't think of any, LOL. I thought maybe they're more compassionate and less violent, but then I thought about the fact that 1 out of 3 women has killed her own child." First of all, Pearl, calm down. That first tweet in all caps, no need to yell. It's not very ladylike. There is so much to say here. One, that statistic about 1 in 3 women kill their own child. Where possibly did you get that? Where did you get this number? I mean, I looked into the percentage of women who have abortions. I looked into the percentage of women who have abortions versus the ones who give birth. Still, I could not find the 1 to 3 number. So, please, Pearl, please, stop using statistics in this irresponsible way you seem to be using them. Here's another example of Pearl misusing statistics on a massive scale.
They say that 20% of men are raising a kid that's not theirs. That's why they don't want a promiscuous woman. They're afraid they're going to pass the resources onto the wrong, onto a kid that's not theirs.
Well, unknowing or knowing?
Not knowing.
So how do they get the statistic? I don't know. It's
DNA test.
No, 20% of men are not raising a kid that is not theirs while thinking it is theirs. No. The reality is the 20% of men is men that went to get tested because they already suspected that it wasn't their child. So it's only 20% of the men who already had a suspicion they were raising a child that was not theirs. This is not representative of the whole male population. And 2, you are an undercover feminist. I mean, this is an insult they like to levy out for anyone who disagrees with them too. It's sort of become like the new racist thing, but really think about it. Think about it. She believes that what men do is more valuable to society, and therefore women's femininity is of less value and less important, and therefore women should go out there and be like men. Of course, she does not openly say this, but this is what she subconsciously believes, that what men offer to society is simply more valuable, and that women's roles are not as important. And this is the case with a lot of feminists and red pill dudes. I said on another video that feminists have this repressed and underlying belief that men, we want to be just like you. We want men to be like them, less like themselves, so that women can be more like men. Pearl does not seem to understand the value of women. She does not understand the complementary nature of men and women. And quite frankly, a lot of people don't. Women's bodies are not as strong as men. True. Because that energy goes into having a body which has the possibility to create life. No big deal. My fiancé is currently doing a medical rotation through the OB. He sees women giving birth daily. And he tells me he is still in disbelief about what women can do. Like the first time he saw it, it was such a shock to his system. Through history, millions of women have died so that newer generations can be born, but this fact escapes Pearl. Oh yes, modern medicine has made that number of women dying in childbirth shrink significantly. The risk is still there though, and so what? Modernity has also made men a lot more safe. They're no longer in an environment in which they constantly need to be on guard, and they also don't get drafted. I know that the argument might be, well, yes, but it is men that created that environment. Yes, but a lot of the danger in environments is also created by other men, other tribal groups. Not to mention that only a small segment of men created that environment. And every single human on this earth has a mother. So we can play this game back and forth. And a lot of the guys saying these stuff in podcasts probably have hands softer than mine. They take the credit for the men working hard, back-breaking jobs. But honestly, I think they think of themselves as superior to those men. They might not say it. I don't believe that guys like Fresh and Fit really don't have a huge ego and superiority complex. But this should not be a competition. And it isn't. I genuinely believe that we are both needed. And the last thing I want to do is create an environment or encourage an environment which fosters resentment between the genders, like Pearl does. My thing is, if I were to consume the popular red pill content exclusively, I would think that women are just lounging about. Notice how I said popular content, okay? I know there's some other good stuff on there, but the popular content creators in the red pill space. And I would think that women had always had it easy because men did everything. If you think I haven't watched enough, maybe I haven't watched enough of the small creators, but I have watched a lot of the big ones, the most popular ones which have the most audience, the ones which have the most influence. And my mind, honestly, was so warped for a while.
For a suspicion of assault of this dumb hoe. And I'm like,
wait, is it dumb hoe?
They didn't, but I'm gonna protect her anonymity because I'm a nice guy. Dumb hoe.
But let's get back to Pearl's tweets for a second. Apparently, men are just better at everything. Are they though? Maybe at the things that Pearl and the feminists and other red pill dudes value. Studies have demonstrated though, for example, that women tend to exhibit more emotional intelligence than men. This is not a dig on men, by the way, but this is an area of strength for women. Maybe Pearl does not think emotional intelligence is important. Women also tend to excel in cooperative environments and in teamwork. And I know some men might hate me bringing up these examples, and you will think of one TikTok girl that displays no emotional intelligence or no capacity for teamwork, and therefore confirming your bias. But if you consider what red pillars love, which is evolutionary psychology, women had to rely more on connections and friendships and cooperation to ensure their survival and their children's. Studies have also found that women are better at multitasking, and this is not surprising. Imagine a situation where a woman was gathering food while simultaneously watching her kids or making food, etc. And men tend to be more singularly focused, more focused on a target. And this is good. This is why we complement each other. Women also tend to score better in tests related to communication, and they also tend to be the majority in caregiving professions. Many nurses end up injured for life, given the nature of their profession, especially when they have to carry obese people. But anyways, but maybe Pearl is just not interested in caregiving. Maybe caregiving is just not an important aspect of human society. Here's the thing. You decide what is most important and more valuable to society based on your values. If you primarily value structures being built, and not so much the human connection and caregiving and things that are less concrete, then you might decide that men offer more value. But if you're a little bit capable of nuanced thinking, you might realize that the things women offer are not as tangible, but equally as important. I know there will be some people that still bitterly say that men are better, while simultaneously they themselves do not offer any value to society. I noticed that Pearl tends to say controversial things like, I recently decided women shouldn't vote.
I don't think women should know.
Huh?
I don't think women should know.
Because she knows it will get a reaction. And her followers will just love it for it. Based.
Based? Hello?
Based.
Thinks that women should be able to work.
You decided women shouldn't vote.
Yeah, that's a new opinion.
Why's that?
Okay.
I'll take one for the team. Yeah.
Okay. Why shouldn't women vote?
Because we're chemically different every single day.
Based? Hello?
Right.
Okay.
The thing is that if Pearl would think about this take for more than 5 seconds, to be intellectually consistent, then she needs to get off the internet.
Well, hold on. Does that mean you shouldn't be on YouTube then? Because you're chemically different. Your opinions could be bullshit. Because
they could be, yeah.
Because right now with her podcast, she has a lot more influence on the culture and politics than if she were a private citizen with one vote. And no, that does not mean I should get off the internet because I don't believe what Pearl believes. Okay? You follow? Pearl defends men in every decision while she bashes women. She extends zero grace to women for their bad choices, but she does extend all the grace to men. Say, for example, a woman is cheated on and left or abused. Pearl would lay all the blame on the woman for choosing a bad partner. If the situation is reversed though, and the man ends up with a girlfriend or wife who cheats and leaves him, or a woman who leaves and takes all his money, oh, poor baby. Women are just evil these days. This is just their nature. No blame on the men, not telling him to take accountability. No, well, who picked them? In this case, I noticed the similarities between feminism and the new red pill. This constant victimization for one side is what drove me away from the feminists, who blame all their woes on men and the patriarchy. Well, your life sucks because men. This kind of thinking made me feel powerless and weak. Like I had no control over my life. And I do not like when people think of me as a victim. That mentality is pretty toxic. But Pearl essentially takes away men's responsibility over their own lives by placing men on the evil women. And I don't know if she said this, well actually this is Rollo's take, so she probably has parroted it as well. But instead of saying the patriarchy society like the feminists do, they say the gynocentric society. She not only frames men as blameless victims, she also says that they should be leaders. Yeah. And Pearl, if they're supposed to be leaders, they do not have the luxury of blaming women for their problems. Often the red pillars compare women to children. And what responsible adult blames their child for their problems? And let me be clear, I don't believe any of this. I think yes, women can be victims of their circumstances and men as well. And when we have tough situations, it sucks. But we also have to take responsibility and accountability for how we contributed to those situations. Pearl might be right to a certain extent, but then she crosses the line into Looney Town. I was watching a discussion of her and Zuby in which they discussed a situation of a man having 16 children with 16 different women. Zuby, rightfully so, wanted the man to take ownership of the mess he was creating. Pearl, on the other hand, solely laid the blame on the women because they should be picking better. So the man is absolved of all responsibility when he's part of creating fatherless children and broken homes 16 times. That blew my mind. No, they are both to blame. The woman who gets pregnant by this man is to blame, and the man is too, times 16. Pearl, you claim to champion men's rights and things which men are dealing with, like unfairness in family courts, and if I genuinely believe that that's actually what you're doing, I would be on your side. But the reality is you say that, and then you make statements like,
it's different for men and for women cheating.
No.
I actually think that like women like to be cheated on.
And you make the people who are genuinely fighting for these issues look bad, look terrible. Optics is important when you want reasonable people to be on board with your cause, believe it or not. I don't know if Pearl knows this and doesn't care, or is really that ignorant on the matter, that she is essentially making the leftists' case for them. She has created a character which she believes are the positions of conservatives, but really is what leftists say conservatives are. It was actually pretty funny to see her fighting with conservatives on Twitter a while ago, when all this time she's been claiming to speak for conservative men and for conservative women. But no, she is not speaking for them. Although lately I would say that the red pill stuff is starting to infiltrate mainstream conversations, which I don't love, but we'll get to that in another video. With that said, guys, I'll see you next time.